There is a little peewee right there. Welcome, fellow Kiss fans. Welcome to It's All For You Demons, celebrating the fun of being a Kiss fan. And tonight we are celebrating collecting Kiss, which is absolutely the most fun thing to do in the world. I can't think of a funner thing. Can you? No, you can't. And so that is what we are going to talk about tonight. We are talking the absolute joy of collecting Kiss, because I had a very joyous experience. Something I have wanted for 30 plus years, never seen in real life, has shown up in the Wax Night basement. And so this is like life come full circle. The absolute joy of thinking something is cool when you're 15 and finally seeing it when you're 49 and being able to bless it on the walls of the Wax Night basement is a pretty fun freaking thing. And that is why I love collecting Kiss. That is why I am proud to be a Kiss fan, and this is the most fun hobby in the world, being a Kiss fan. It's the most... I'm very happy to be a Kiss fan today, if you could not tell. So let's talk the joy of collecting Kiss. Now let's start this journey of the joy of collecting, because the piece we're going to talk about, I probably saw 1987. That was pre me being a Kiss fan, but back when Danny and I would rent music videos all the time. This was the VHS boom of music videos. We rented Uncensored all the time. We rented Exposed. You know, later on we would rent Decline of the Western Civilization Part 2. The music home video was amazingly cool. Fast forward a smidge to November '89, the Might and Magic of Kiss magazine. This is where Danny and I first saw the merchandising and first had a realization that this stuff was out there and could possibly be found. But back in 1989, no eBay. The chances of finding anything were slim to none. Speaking of the joy of collecting Kiss, my Might and Magic is completely shot. I mean, the cover is detached, but that is 34 years of use and fun, and that is pretty much what we're talking about tonight, is that joy of collecting. You know, I say things can be bagged and boarded and kept nice, but you gotta enjoy your shit. And I enjoyed this magazine when I was 15, enjoy it today, and I always see nice versions of this for sale, but I never pick one up, because this is my history. This is my fun. And so now we're up to the era where I am a fan of the band, and so Danny and I would really rent Exposed all the time now. And I was young enough and naive enough to believe that the band lived together in that mansion, so I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I love that I did. I'm glad Danny wasn't there to, like, swayed me from that thought, because that's the magic of being a Kiss fan. That's the joy of being a youngster and believing in the magic. And I bought into it back then. But what the scene we loved the most, and it still brings me joy to this day, is that archives scene where they go into the archives. In that archives, when they are going through the videotapes, behind them is a poster that Danny and I always thought was the coolest poster ever. But neither one of us had any idea what that poster was. And I don't even really know how this happened. I guess it was just the gods of rock and roll and fun blessing us. But one day Danny and I went into Dragon's Lair comic book shop, probably around '89, because we were big into comic books because of the Batman movie came out, and, you know, just kind of wanted to go back into a area of our childhood. So we were always going to that comic book shop. And I remember we were always looking for that Guns N' Roses hard rock comic that had gotten banned. And one day, the guy had the first Kiss comic. He's like, I don't have the Guns N' Roses, but I have this. And Danny's jaw dropped, because he remembers this from being a kid. And I was just like, holy crap. I mean, this is stuff we saw in the Might and Magic that we didn't think we would ever find, and we found. So Danny bought it, and this is the copy that Danny bought back then. You know, I've always said Danny and I kind of have this thing that if one of us have it, we both have it. So back then, it was my comic too, and now it's in my possession, and it's Danny's comic as well. Not really sure when this happened, but at some point Danny acquired the second comic book, just jaw to the ground, I can't believe we're finding this stuff. And we did notice that this comic book came with a pull-out poster. Poster was not included in the version Danny got. This is Danny's copy from back then. Never knowing that that was the poster that we were so infatuated with from Exposed. Fast forward many, many decades later, Kiss Online was not selling very cool shirts like they do today. The shirts were pretty bad, and so I was like, screw it. If Kiss isn't gonna sell cool shirts, I'll just make them myself. So I went through this phase of like making my own Kiss shirts, and I Google image searched Kiss all the time, and I swiped this off the internet and made a hoodie out of it. And it was then that I finally realized, wow, this is the Marvel Super Special #2 poster. The same one we saw in Exposed, the same one that grew up wondering where the hell that poster came from, and now the hunt was on to find this poster. But because I am a cheap ass, I didn't want to rebuy the second comic book with the poster, because at this time vintage merch was fetching high dollars, and so I was on the holdout for the poster alone. Enter today, 49 years old, 2023, some 34 years after seeing that poster in Exposed and being infatuated with it. The Marvel Super Special #2 poster is in the Wax Night basement, and when it showed up, I felt what it would have felt like to be an 8-year-old kid in 1978 seeing this poster being pulled out of a comic book. Maybe it was the fact that I have never ever seen this in real life. It just blew me away and really made me realize why I love collecting so much. To me, this comic book poster screams fun, comic books, Phantom of the Park, amusement parks, summer break from school, teenage life in the late 1970s. That is what this poster says to me. And it brought me so much happiness and so much joy. I just wanted to make this video and talk about the joy of collecting, because that's what it is. It's not a race to see who can get the most stuff, to see who can get the most expensive stuff. It's never about one-upping someone else. It's just about finding stuff you love and finding stuff that makes you happy, because life is way too short. Whatever your hobby is, find it, enjoy it, and celebrate the fuck out of it. So I ended up redoing the computer wall with the Halloween costumes because of this poster. So I have placed it there, centerpiece there with the Halloween costumes. You can't scream 1970s fun more than those Halloween costumes and that comic book poster. Pee-wee, you still remain on the wall because you are a badass as well. And from that computer wall, I have moved my buddy FL Dog's Asylum wood carving creation that he gifted me with. I love that thing. I moved it over here underneath the John 5 cat creation picture that I made for John 5. I also made that into a shirt for him. Perfect. And then I also moved the Collegeville Halloween costume comic ad over here that was on the computer wall. Kind of fits better over here anyway, and that's also the joy of collecting. The joy of collecting is constantly rearranging your room. And how fun is this? Not only do we get to talk the fun and joy of collecting, we get to look at the nooks and crannies of the Wax Night basement. You guys never knew this stuff existed over here. You learn something new every day. So there you go. Thank you for hanging with us tonight in the Wax Night basement and waxing a little rock and roll nostalgia on the fun of collecting. Pee-wee loves to collect Kiss. She does. Got the old Kiss blankie here that her sister laid on all the time and has now been gifted to the Pee-wee. Queen of the castle. Be good to your babies. Spay, neuter, microchip. Take care. Be safe. We will talk to you soon.